Are you ready to move into a leadership position? Do you have interests and ambitions that you want to pursue, but feel like you don't know how to take that next step? Maybe you want to start your own coaching or consulting agency. I'm Mel, and I help educators define their career path through correct mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for your career transition. I will show you how to level up your leadership skills, share your expertise in a new way, create impact on a larger scale, and put your leadership in motion. As an educator for over 20 years, I started to feel underused and like I had more to give. I knew when the time had come for me to leave the classroom and affect change on a larger level. Now, I'm ready to help you determine where your talents and skills mesh with your passions and interests. Put your leadership in motion and move into that next phase of your educational career journey. Let me help you define your career path by having the right mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for that next leadership position. So power up and put your leadership in motion. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Mel Vandevort. Today, I have a guest. You have not heard me say that in a very long time because this new job of mine has absolutely taken over my life, and I've not had time to schedule a guest nor interview a guest in a while. But with the holiday, I actually have a little bit more time, and so my friend and colleague, Dr. Lea Hickerson, is joining us today, and she's going to talk to us about an app that she created. Lea and I go back a little ways. I actually knew her family before I knew her, and I met her at a job where we were both first-time principals, and we went through the doctorate program together at Southwest Baptist University, and we have been friends ever since, and I am super excited to have her on the show. Welcome to the show, Lea.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. It's very exciting to talk about our new app. Just a little bit about myself, my history for work. I was an English teacher, and then I was a principal with you for several years. Mm-hmm. And then the last 5 years, this is my 6th year, which is hard to believe, I've been an education consultant.
Yeah, wow. It is hard to believe that it's been that long. My goodness.
Yes, this is my 6th year.
Wow.
So it's a lot of fun. But through the course of that, also created a company called Teamchers Technologies. And we have an app that we're really excited about that is all done, all polished, all ready to go to really help teams with their data. So they can be data teaming in real time, sharing their documents in a space where they don't get lost. If you have turnover, if you have teachers leave, everything kind of stays there. Even if someone tries to delete something, we can give it back. So it really gives the power to the admin and to the teams to really make sure that their data teaming is affecting teaching and learning in real time, because I think that's the missing piece that we see so often in schools. I work in schools all over the state, and that once a month, once a week team meeting ends up being they end up talking about field trips or this kid or that kid that's being naughty or whatever. And so, we saw a need and created this app, and we're really excited to have schools using it and to really get it going.
Awesome. So before we get into talking about the app a little bit more, tell us a little bit about your journey through education. So you mentioned that you were an English teacher and that you have been a principal, and now you work with as an educational consultant. So tell us just a little bit about that, more your journey into education or through education and into what made you want to create the app.
So I started my education career in a private school. I taught English there 2 years, and it was very rewarding and very fun for sure. But then I got married and came to the public school system, and it was a whole different world.
Right.
And so I had some really big culture shock coming from one situation to another. I had a whole year of thinking, what did I do? Why did I, make this move? But in a lot of ways, it was much more rewarding than my time at the Catholic school. I learned a lot about myself as a professional. I learned a lot about myself as a teacher, and really came to understand what it takes to really get kids engaged and learning, and see them succeed. So it was a really rewarding experience. I did that 7 years and then went to be a high school principal. So, and then in my time as a high school principal, it was the other side of the coin, but still very much the same issues. I want teachers to be using data, and I wanted teachers to be engaged with their curriculum and their standards and all of those things, but to bring them to a very real place where kids are engaged and learning is happening and success and growth are evident. And, then I made that transition to an education consultant, which was a really scary move because, anytime you make a shift that big, I wasn't sure I had the street cred to do it, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Oh, it does make sense because I've been there.
Because, you're supporting everyone from the classroom teacher all the way up through central office admin. And so it was a scary transition, but it by far has been the most fun job. Every day is different, which I love. The dynamic of it is great. The relationships all across the state have been really incredible. And through that work, I've been in classrooms. I've been, coaching teachers, coaching admin to coach teachers. And so through that process, the app really became something that I felt was a need. I'm thinking we can't get more time. Time is a commodity we just can't get more of. And boy, do we all wish that we could. Every teacher I talk to is, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. Right. And so we talk about how do we bridge that gap and how do we make sure that the right things are happening in real time so that the time spent is worth it, so that it's the most valuable it can be.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of great information there already. So you are not an independent consultant you are working on that toward that, but right now you're working through a college for the regional professional development center. Yeah.
I work for the Regional Professional Development Center. The program that I'm actually the state facilitator for the region. And the program that I work with is called DCI, District Continuous Improvement. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the work has really been centered around MSIP 6 right now, especially because it is on everyone's forefront, redoing the CSIP and, trying to honor all those components, looking forward to APR. And so a lot of the work with admin has been really foundational in those pieces. A lot of culture climate surveys we've done with schools to get them on track with a document that they really are using. I think historically CSIP kind of sat on a shelf. It just did.
And what is CSIP? Because we have this show is for new and aspiring administrators. So they might not know what CSIP is or MSIP. And we have a lot of listeners from other states. So
absolutely.
It may not be called that same thing in their state.
It's the Continuous School Improvement Plan.
Awesome. All right, great. And then MSIP is Missouri. So
yes, the Missouri School Improvement Plan. And so it came, 2 years ago, brand new. And it really shook things up because it was asking a lot of districts,
right?
And asking a lot more of districts in a time where they were already pretty taxed to the max. And so we definitely have been busy supporting that work, but in supporting that, it really does shine a light on some of the needs that schools have.
Mm-hmm. So absolutely. So you sent me a message and asked me to look at your app and give you feedback. And so we went through that process for quite a little while. I can't remember exactly when you started. So I know you had it in development for a little while, and then you asked some of us to play with the app and give you some feedback. And I can't even remember how long that's been.
So we've done 3 pilots. Our first pilot was 2024, December of 24.
Okay.
We did a March of 25 pilot. And then we did our final pilot in June, July of this year.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. And I got to be part of that. And I was very impressed with the app itself. You know how I am. I gave you lots of feedback on things because you know how it is. When you create something, you have this mental model in your head, but when you actually put it to to use, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that, or I didn't think about this. And when other people have a chance to be part of it and play with it, they also have a different mental model and things that they would like to see. So you were great on that feedback because, I give pretty harsh feedback sometimes. And so you were like, okay, great. I didn't even think about that. And so you were really good about accepting that feedback and then making changes based on that.
And we definitely need that feedback. We have to have that sort of feedback to get a product that really is useful to schools and for teachers. Our biggest concern when we were in development was that it's intuitive, not something that's 100 clicks for teachers to use or complicated for admin to use. I think one of the biggest pieces that we've really fleshed out and focused on is the admin dashboard so that they can really look at engagement and look at what the teams are doing and even run reports for their board meetings, things like that hopefully are helpful to them. Because again, with the new guidelines coming, I know that those things are going to be asked for, and we want to make it so simple.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk more about the actual app itself and what was your vision when you first started? So you talked a lot about data. So tell us more about your vision on how that was going to be used, how the app was going to help teachers and admin, and then talk about some of the features, and then we'll talk more about how they can get in touch with you and do a demo or whatever it is you want them to do.
So from the teacher side, they can, as a team, and it also allows for vertical teaming too. So, which we really also wanted to plug in because we know districts are big, people are busy. So not only are they going to be teaming with their in-house people, but they can also vertical team in a virtual format. It has a place for them to have conversations and chats, and it has a place for them to set goals and objectives. Admin can also set goals and objectives. So if they have district goals, which again, tied to that district continuous improvement, they can set some for them as well. And then they're also tracking those through the documents they're uploading. There's a place for them to upload data, a place to upload curriculum documents. So assessments and assignments, and all of those types of pieces. And the edge it has over a Google Drive or a Google Classroom is that if I'm a teacher and I leave, my stuff stays with the team. And we can even roll it to another team. So if you have kiddos that you're wanting the data to track, again, that vertical tracking, we can track that data and share that with another of your vertical teams. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for them to really have it all right there. We really just want the teachers to feel like they can have real conversations. So if you and I are both teaching the same thing and we give a common formative assessment and we want to know how did our kids do, we can have that conversation right now, not waiting for that weekly or monthly meeting.
Right. And the part that you said about if a teacher leaves or if an admin leaves and that data stays right there and those documents stay right there. I'm new to my position. I came in. I'm sure this information and these documents and this data is somewhere in the massive drive that I was given access to. So I had to actually get access from our tech team to get into the drive of the person before me and have it all moved over to my drive. And then I have to try to find it, but you don't know what it's named. And so it's a guess on what that where it's at, or even if it's there, or how do you find it? You're pretty sure it's there, but you can't find it because you don't know how what their mental model of what a good name for that looks like. And so that piece of just being able to step in and all of that data be there. So then you have that historic data as well. So does that data get purged every year? Does it stay there?
It'll archive. The admin can always see it. The teachers could see it if they wanted to access to the archive. That would be an admin decision. So team leads will be able to access the archive if they're given a team lead role. And then any teacher could if that role is shared. So
is that automatic archiving per year or archived at your will?
It would be archived at the admin discretion.
Okay. So
Yep.
can you have multiple years of data open at one time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. All right.
And aside from the data too, we really want it to be a place where their curriculum lives and breathes,
Yeah.
because, I visit, 20 schools a month, and I hear over and over, we're just starting over the curriculum because so-and-so left, because this person left. And either they're not leaving it, or what they're leaving is bare bones, and there's not really anything guiding the work. So they have a portfolio of worksheets, but so what? And we're really hoping and envisioning that the app is also a showcase for that, to help the work continue and build, and not hit the hard reset on the curriculum every time someone leaves, or every time an admin leaves, even,
Right.
because we've seen that too.
Right. Yeah. And there's always curriculum gaps that you're trying to close. And as you're able to close those, they stay closed because, like you said, you're not losing that stuff when someone leaves. And again, everybody has a different mental model. And even what is curriculum? What is a good curriculum? So we think it's just a book handed to us to teach out of. And there's so much more to curriculum than just the book that you're handed to teach out of. So it's great that you can find that stuff and that it's always available to you.
Absolutely. We have a lot of conversations with teachers, especially new teachers, the difference between a resource and curriculum, because they're not one and the same. And sometimes I think that they get kind of blended or confused.
Oh, yeah.
And so helping also them understand these are resources to pull from. The curriculum should be developed with the end in mind, and the big picture and the standards kind of at the forefront.
Right. And curriculum is all of the stuff together. It's all of the resources, not just the one resource.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yes. One of the things that we're working on this year, we don't have scope and sequence. We don't have pacing guides. So my teachers have had to learn a lot this year, and that work continues. And it's hard when they're not used to that, or they've taught a certain way for so long, and then all of these other pieces are being thrown at them. So just the fact that this is always there, that all of those documents and resources are accessible, plus that conversation and that historical data, that is like a game changer that you guys have created.
And we're really excited about it. We're really hoping that schools find value in all the pieces to it. And we're always still collecting feedback, even though it's live, even though it's it's happening and people are using it. We are still very open to feedback. That's one of the really great things about having our own developer in the company,
Right.
that we're not waiting for some third party somewhere to make these changes, and to make people's suggestions come to life. And that, I think, is also really powerful. And we're really excited about even the continued feedback we get.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So we are running a little bit short on time. So talk to us about how they can connect with you, how they can see the app. What do they need to do?
So we have a website. It's Teamchers, TEAMCHERS, technologies.com. And it has a place to request a demo. We are happy to come to a school and do a demo live with teachers. And then they can also send us an email at connect@teamchers.com. And we are just really excited to kind of get more people using the app, and again, gather that feedback, because without everyone's feedback and everyone's input, we wouldn't be successful. So we're excited.
Exactly. Yes. And my audience knows that I'll have all of that information in the show notes, but I do like to have you guys verbalize it. Anybody who comes on to verbalize your connection. And then I stick that link in the show notes so they don't have any problems connecting with you, because we don't want anybody to go away and say, I really wish I knew how to connect with that guest. So I make sure that they have all of that access. So Lea, it's been great to catch up with you. I'm super excited. I kind of think you hinted at maybe a couple of other apps that you have in mind.
We have one. Yes, we have one that only needs polishing, but it's a finished app, and it's called GrowPod. And it is for teachers to track their PD for the intention of using it for career ladder or whatever it is they may need.
Wow.
And it also puts them in touch with some PD options, whether it be articles or speakers or YouTube videos, that fits along with the PD goals that they set for themselves. So that one we are really excited to roll out. It will be free for teachers. So
Yay.
yes. So really excited about that one. And it is very close to launch. And then we do have another one that is very much in the rough stages of development. But it's really focused around student safety. So we're excited about that too.
Wonderful. Yes, that is something that we have been focusing on here at our campus for sure, because we are in the St. Louis area and we always want to make sure that our students are safe. Well, it doesn't matter where you are. You always want to make sure that your students are safe. And so that is probably going to be a highly sought after app.
Let's hope so.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Well, Lea, thank you so much for joining me today. I have had a great time catching up with you. And I know we've kind of been busy the last few months with my new job and your jobs with school starting. And so we haven't gotten to connect as much as we had been, but it's been great. And I am super excited about your other two apps and the continued polishing of this app and the feedback that you're getting and making it even more usable for teachers and school districts. So for all of you out there, connect with Lea and let her show you a demo. Thank you so much, Lea, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And for the rest of you, have a great rest of your week, which it's the weekend almost. So you know how I am on Fridays. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you back here next week. Bye-bye.